Thank you for purchasing the Nemko System. Congratulations. I want to give you a quick tutorial on how to set it up, along with some recommendations of how to make the user experience top-notch. First things first, once you've got it open, and if you have any trouble opening it or loading it into Excel, or if you don't have Excel, please visit the FAQs page, which is right below this video, and that's going to be able to answer questions of how to get the proper software to be able to make this work. If you don't have Excel, there's a free trial that you can get for 60 days that can take care of your software needs. So first things first, you want to enter your draft pick position here. And in this case, I'm going to select number 3, and it's going to automatically update everything behind the scenes. So the players below are rated by position first, quarterback, wide receiver, running back, etc., and also then by alphabetical by first name. So when you scroll down, you're looking alphabetical by first name. The G, the cream portion, G is for gone. That's any player that's gone in the draft. You have to keep up with the draft as each player goes to be able to give the system the information it needs to make those sophisticated decisions, because it knows what your competitors are taking and it knows who's going to be available later. So with that, every time a player goes, so in this case, first overall pick, you would select, let's say, Arian Foster, and next pick, let's say, is LaShawn McCoy. And now we're at number 3. So it's going to tell you, go ahead and pick Aaron Rodgers. All the orange selections, M stands for mine, my pick. And it's going to put him up here as one of your players, one of your starters, and automatically update everything accordingly. So now, as we go through the draft, you're going to continue making selections for each player that goes, and it's going to continue moving the ticker forward. Now there's a couple other things to notice. XXX miscellaneous at the top. These are used for 2 purposes. One is in case there's a player pick that we don't have reviewed, i.e. sometimes there's a local fan favorite that people like on their team that isn't necessarily a viable candidate for winning. If a competitor in your league selects that player and they're not available in the list, you would just select here to kind of cover all so that the person's gone. It still moves the pick forward. The other is in case you get to your turn, i.e. if we go back 1 and go to Aaron Rodgers, and it doesn't say Aaron Rodgers. So let's pretend we forgot to select Arian Foster. So we're sitting here, it's our pick, it doesn't tell us to do anything. Go through, pick the last thing, it's going to tell you the next best available player. And if you miss someone, it's likely going to be here, and it's going to say, hey, Aaron Rodgers is available, go ahead and take him. Now, once you get later in the draft, it's going to say, hey, you should also be selecting Arian Foster at some point, and then you'll realize, oh, that's the guy I missed. Uncheck miscellaneous and check Foster, and it'll go ahead and update everything. Now, along the way, you are going to have some selections that you don't agree with. In fact, many of them you're not going to agree with because the decisions are made much more sophisticated than just simply the best available player at the best available round. So that being said, evaluate your statistics at the end. Select the players exactly like it's done. And that's why we recommend doing mock drafts. There's no risk. You can build your confidence in the Nemko system and realize really what it's capable of. So the other is picks in general. The kickers and defense, we don't value highly, but we do value them. So there is some value, and it's compared to the other players that are available. So you may be surprised to see that some of the defenses and kickers go a little bit earlier. Because while there's not a significant difference between, say, Mason Crosby and Matt Prater, there is a difference, and that has to be evaluated compared to the other players available in the draft. When you complete the entire draft and you've selected all of those picks, don't save because you're going to have to then uncheck every single box. If you do save, not the end of the world, just find all the boxes. It's not that difficult. We didn't put a uncheck all because of some of the security features that make it potentially difficult to load on some people's computers. So we just left it as is and left the script very basic so it runs universal everywhere and runs very smoothly. The other is don't panic if you get behind. When you get to your pick, there's going to be plenty of time to evaluate these players, catch up, click the boxes that need to be clicked. So fast forward, I'm going to fill out a team very briefly and show you the stat portion so that we can get an idea how to review these players. So right now it's telling me you have a complete team and your score is going to be fairly soft. Obviously, this isn't an actual draft. It's just telling you some players that are there. But when you go on the end, there's a stat check here on the other side. And this is where you can really look and evaluate that we're not over-fluffing the numbers. If you compare Arian Foster's rushing yards here, they're going to be very much in line with the other ranking sites that are out there. In our case, some of the players are slightly higher, some of the players are slightly lower, because there's a slightly higher advantage or relevance put on last year's statistics, to the tune of probably 60-40, let's say. The other thing that's somewhat surprising, and you'll see explanations in the FAQ page, is that bye weeks are essentially disregarded. The bye weeks have value, don't get me wrong, but when compared to the potential of that player, it's going to still select a better player that maybe has a bye week that leaves you vulnerable mid-season. The team is going to be so strong that it really is going to be irrelevant when you reach those bye weeks. If you have one or two players down, you're still going to have a team that's very, very strong for the entire season, and the value you gain by disregarding that element is higher than what it's costing you, and that's the reason why it's there. Again, all those pieces have been statistically analyzed to know to the penny what matters and what doesn't. The other thing we strongly recommend is to run a few mock drafts preferably on the system that your team runs on. There's a few pieces that are critical. One is just the speed and getting familiar with the interface. Two is building confidence in the overall system and understanding what it's going to deliver for you. And number three is getting a feel for how you have to adjust the spreadsheet to fit. Because if you're doing this on one screen, you have to do either split screen left to right or up and down. Some players prefer it to be up and down, where you just have a small section here at the bottom where you'd be scrolling and picking players. Others prefer it left-right. Really use your preferences, take your time, set up the screen. All you have to do is adjust here, click this button, and then grab and drag left to right as needed to make the thing fit. So that's it for the brief tutorial. Thanks so much for purchasing the Nemko system. You will be dominating the draft and dominating the entire season, I promise you that. And if your entire league purchased the Nemko system, every game will be razor tight and highly competitive, and you'll have an excellent time this year. Be well, and if you have any questions, please email service@superbowlguaranteed.com. Enjoy the winning this season.